Yo, yo, and yo, I hope you all are having an amazing Monday, and welcome to The Bakery with only the youngest donut that has ever existed within such a beautiful and welcoming community. And with me today at the round table of successful human beings sits a young streaming prodigy. If not a prodigy, at least a legend, my boy, TheSkilledRoy, aka Connor Lee. Connor, how you doing, my brother? Welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, man. I do appreciate it. I'm not sure about legend or prodigy, but I'll take it. I'll take the compliments when I get them. You know what I'm saying?
I'll forever give you every compliment ever. One of the nicest Smash players I have come across meeting in such a short amount of time. Connor Legend, so. Connor Lee, Prodigy, Roy the Boy. Come on, how many more rhymes can I get going at? But before it works out well. But before we even get going too far, quick introduction for the people that are here and have maybe never even heard of you. Who is TheSkilledRoy?
Alright, so hey guys, my name's Connor Lee, TheSkilledRoy. I'm a netplay streamer, so I stream mostly exclusively Melee, a couple other games on the side maybe now and then, but I'm a Roy player, Roy main. And not only that, but I play the game with, as we say, no wave dash, no L cancel, but basically Techless. So the most complex thing I really do is perhaps ledge cancel and up air occasionally. So that's about it. So I'm a Techless and Techless player who plays arguably one of the worst characters in the game. So I guess that's my claim to fame, so to speak.
I kind of like that you play questionably one of the worst. If you were to rank, who do you? We're not even going to do a full tier list, but who do you think is genuinely the worst character?
I honestly think Roy is the worst character. I'm actually not exaggerating. I think Roy and Bowser both have strong cases for being the worst character in the game. Roy is much flashier in certain situations, especially against Spaceys, for example, but Bowser's an insane character on Yoshi's, for example, and even arguably on Battlefield. So like, and I've seen some crazy stuff being done with Bowser. Bowser's not explored yet, I think. There's like 3 people in the world who play Bowser well, and they have a lot of promise, you know what I mean? But with Roy, this character's been explored, and he's just bad. This character fights you, like when you play Roy, you're fighting yourself 9 times out of 10. And it feels bad. It feels bad, man. But you know what? Overall, it's like the character is just kind of a clown fiesta. So I think the bottom 3 characters are what I call unplayable. And I think that's really just like Kirby, Roy, and Bowser. Those 3 are all really bad, and it really depends how bad of matchups you want. Do you want to lose to floaties all the time, then you pick Roy and Bowser. If you want to lose to Spaceys, then Spaceys and Falcon, then you pick Kirby. You know what I mean? So it's really pick your poison of how badly you want to lose. Like, what 100-0 matchups do you want? so yeah.
Well, what do you like when I'm saying it like this? Do you think about it more in terms of in specifically the way you play? Because I know as you just covered, you're the Techless. Yeah, you're the Techless player. When you're grading them, do you grade them in terms of if they were Techless, or do you think of it as if
that's
they
a fair
did?
point, actually. Yeah, that's definitely a really fair point. I think a Techless tier list would be cool to make, because Sheik would obviously be way higher. I think quite frankly, Warp has it right when he picks Sheik as a Techless character, because I think theoretically speaking, Sheik is one of the strongest Techless characters. But when I'm talking, I am talking like I'm talking human level play. I think the tier list as it stands now, we get this another debate along. We get in this debate occasionally, sometimes on my channel. But the tier list is, right, in my personal opinion, is almost fundamentally flawed. For example, people put like the space animals really high up there, saying, "Oh, at optimal levels they're unbeatable," right? But the problem is, if we're balancing the tier list around optimal capabilities, then why is Yoshi like so low? Because Yoshi theoretically at optimal levels, like task levels, becomes like an insane character because of parrying and stuff like that, right? You're right. So you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of weird for me to say it. So I generally average things out to human level, and people don't necessarily agree with my tier list all the time. But I think, especially for the lower end of things, I'm pretty similar to most people. I think Roy is really bad. I actually don't know how Roy got 6th. I think 6th worst he is on the current tier list.
I think, like 6th worst on the bottom. Yeah.
Like Pikachu being that low is a criminal. Pichu's actually not bad.
No, Pichu's sick.
Pichu's actually sick. Mewtwo is way cooler than Roy and has way more tools. Like, there's so many like characters down there who just don't make any sense to me for being that low. So I definitely got to give him the credit that Roy I think is much worse. And even for me, I think if you were to go Techless, Roy is definitely the worst character. But if you have maximum tech skill like wave dashing, his wave dash isn't bad, his shuffles aren't bad either. So like you could argue that he's maybe bottom 3, like I said. But if you're playing him Techless, I think he is the worst character in the game by far.
Even Techless, I feel like some of his punish game is it's actually pretty sick to watch. I know you've been featured in some of those daily highlight things. And I think you've pulled off some really sick for a Techless Roy character. So it kind of wants to, or it doesn't kind of want to. It makes me want to see see the technical players. And I know we have like Lunchables out in Texas area.
Also plays Sheik too because he's a sellout. So don't tell me I told him that. But,
don't worry, he won't watch.
He plays Sheik too, and then Sethon plays other Smash games too, and Roy in those ones as well.
Right. So, I mean, we always have M2K to fall back on, you know.
Yeah, exactly. M2K and Levin also has a pretty decent Roy as well.
Oh yeah.
He plays it really differently, but like he does have a Roy, and it's really sick.
Right.
I think overall most people severely underestimate low tiers in terms of like how bad they truly are. Like every character in the game can combo you pretty much. Like, they all have like tech chases or combos or pseudo combos or like strings, so to speak.
Yeah.
But even though it's kind of weird for me when I say this to people, it's like everyone underestimates low tiers, but they're still really bad and you shouldn't play them.
Yeah.
Roy is excessively bad, but not for the reasons most people sort of attribute to him. But anyways, that generally speaking, even without tech skill, even without wave dashing or L canceling, like as long as you're aware of what you're doing and you understand how the combo engine works, like you can pull off some cool stuff, like down tilt, grab, up throw, forward smash, and then edge guard with your choice or whatever is pretty sick on Roy, obviously. And you can do stuff like that as well.
Well, this has been quite the random tangent that we just kind of took as far as No, don't even worry about it. It just kind of happened. I'm glad it did. Rewinding a little bit. So you're from Ontario. You're I think I'm trying to think about it right now. You might be either the 3rd or the 4th Canadian to come onto this show.
Oh, really? That's awesome. Yeah. So I'm from Toronto, Ontario. So the 6th. And I gotta say, our scene here in Toronto is absolutely stacked. Like Trillium, Ryan Ford, all these really insanely great players. Monib, like all these like really cool guys. I guess they name names like Platt, Nightmare, all these insanely crazy players, all in this area. And they all compete pretty regularly, and we all see each other, and we all play a lot. And I gotta say, like, even for me, I'm like I said, I personally don't feel myself to be very skilled at Melee, but the Toronto scene itself is very stacked, I gotta say. So I'm amongst good peers to learn and play.
I mean, with a name, TheSkilledRoy, you can't lie to me. But were you born and raised up in Canada?
Yeah. So I was born in Canada at St. Kitts Hospital, and then my family moved to Newmarket, Ontario, which is I wish I could say something nice about Newmarket. But anyways,
that was nice.
But eventually, I moved to Toronto to pursue my own stuff. I'm now at Ryerson University studying entrepreneurship and marketing at the Ted Rogers School of Business Management, and that's where I really started taking off in terms of learning Melee seriously and stuff like that. Because everyone's played Melee when they were a kid, obviously.
Of course. And we'll get that, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. But like in terms of that, like Toronto is my home city now, and so I live here, do my work here, stream from my apartment, etc. You know.
There we go. Shout out to the 6. So obviously, with a name so pure and so humble, we always gotta ask the question: why the name TheSkilledRoy?
All right. So we'll go into the origin story of this for a while, I guess, and just talk about why Roy and all that stuff. So
sure.
Roy is my favorite character, favorite Fire Emblem character in Melee. There's 2. There's Marth and Roy. Marth is a little too floaty for me to really appreciate. I didn't like the snappiness of his movements. So a lot of people don't realize this. When I first started playing Melee, I never took it seriously, and to an extent, I'm still pretty chill with it. So I'm not even like super pushing for top 100. Must practice all the time, right? I mean, I wouldn't be playing Roy with no tech skill if my goal was top 100 play. But the thing is that so I played random characters and stuff like that, And a lot of people would comment and say, Connor, man, you just play every character the same. Because a lot of my fundamental playstyle does not really rely on, even back then, I didn't wave dash that much. Even when I did wave dash, no cancel. I often like stood still and waited for people to approach me, or just sort of hard read people off of like tech rolls and stuff like that. And then from there, I just sort of grew into another sort of player. And eventually, what happened was like, I'll play Roy. I know he's garbage, but I have fun with him. And then I don't know what happened, but me and Roy just sort of gelled really well. I started taking games off people for no reason. Like my Fox and Falco were garbage, and my Marth too, because everyone's like, "Oh, play Marth. He's so much better than your Roy." But then I lose to the same people who I was 3-stocking with Roy, and they're like, "That doesn't make any sense." And so we were playing around. I faced like some people around my level of Fox and Falcos and stuff like that, and I beat them, and they're like, a skilled Roy can beat any Fox, like quoting the meme, of course.
Yeah.
And then everyone's like, "Oh, Connor, you're like a skilled Roy, man." And I'm like, "What the hell is a skilled Roy?" Because I didn't even know the meme back then. And so what happened was that they introduced me to the meme, showed me all the game facts, rants of people arguing about Roy being good, and like it was so silly to look at, being someone who's into fighting games and knowing how bad Roy is. It's like these people are clearly crazy.
Right.
But like I was like, you know what? I'll own the joke. You know what I mean? I'll just play Roy for fun, and keep it up from there. Because what happened was that the gaming area at Ryerson, I helped set up with my friend, co-founder JC, and we sort of I would bring all the setups all the time, and I just work on homework or work on other fighting games and stuff like that, while everyone else would play Melee, and I would pack up the setups every night around like 2 a.m. And stuff like that. So I really grinded this whole thing out and really set this place up for people to play and have fun. And then what happened was that like every now and then they're like, "Connor, don't you play Melee?" And I'm like, "Not really." And so I just sit down and just play some Roy as a meme, and I would do surprisingly well, right? Okay. And so over time, it's just like, "Connor, you're a skilled Roy, man." And then when it came eventually time for me to choose a tag to be known on like Twitter and stuff, I chose Skilled Roy. And so the Twitter account, Skilled Roy, the I think the YouTube account and the Twitch account of Skilled Roy is mine. But the thing was that I figured like I can't just be Skilled Roy. I got to be the one and the only. You feel me? I gotta be the Skilled Roy.
Y'all can't be trying to take this spot anymore. This is mine now.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm like, I gotta be the legend. I gotta be the one who can beat any Spacey, you know? So I decided to own it, and I at the first like tournament I entered as a joke just to see how well I would do. I went by TheSkilledRoy, and it sort of stuck from there. And then when I went into streaming and doing all my other social media and other stuff like that, it just was like, you know what, time to change everything to TheSkilledRoy because it sounds better. And it's more unique too, right?
Oh yeah, no, that's definitely one of the more unique names. It's almost like a baby sentence, you know what I mean? It's the start, but never really goes anywhere. But we take it, and that's pretty dope. So now we rewind a little bit further here, and even you addressed it a little bit in the beginning of our tangents with the whole everyone played this game as a kid. Everyone did. Yeah, even if you don't remember playing the game, you played the.
Yeah, McDonald's in the fun kid areas, you know.
Someone had a GameCube.
Yeah,
anyway,
someone did.
So how did your It's so weird. These things are like virgin stories, but it's like, how did you pop your cherry? How did you first play Melee? Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So it depends. Are we talking like, do you want me like all the way as a kid, or do you want me like when I actually started like being aware of the game?
Well, we do both. You could do both. We could do like how you first saw the game, and then what made you take it on competitively.
Yeah, like as far as games go, I actually started pretty young. Actually, like I got my first game on the Game Boy. It was Lego Laser Mission. It was it was like this weird puzzle game where you play the secret agents having to connect lasers with mirrors and stuff like that, teaching like basic physics. And it was like really fun. And I got really into it. My parents at the time were really supportive of games. And what happened was that they really like wanted me to push me forward, keep doing all this gaming stuff because it's all puzzle related, right? Mm-hmm. And then what happened was that they got me GameCube, and there's a couple like not educational games, but I can't remember what games I had back then. That was a long time ago.
Sure.
And then they got me Super Smash Bros. Melee because it had my favorite character Link at the time on it. And so I was like, oh man, I can't wait to play Super Smash Bros. And so I just played Super Smash Bros. Like a bunch of times when I was a kid, obviously, and just sort of grinded out from there. Played Luigi's Mansion, all the sort of old games, Resident Evil eventually, like all sorts of games on the GameCube.
Mm-hmm.
But when I got into it seriously, a lot of people sort of don't understand. I haven't really been playing Melee seriously very much at all, actually. Like, I'd say less than a year, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
I have been running the scene at Ryerson for about 2 years at the time. But like I would just sit down, like play the game, maybe 2 matches, and then just get off. Like people would always joke around with me, like he's a TO, but he literally doesn't even play the game. I just like hang out with people there, and everyone's really chill, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so right before I started streaming, I decided to take it a little bit more seriously. I was like, you know what? I'll give it a shot. You know, I'll actually put some more effort into it. This was I still wasn't using wave dashing and L canceling too often yet, but it was still like relatively still there. And I just sort of kept playing it from there and stuff going on because like everyone else still had the stuff there, and I kind of wanted to join in on them sometimes because I was just bored. I finished my homework and I'm just watching them play or watching videos on my computer while I'm waiting for them to finish up for the night so I can leave. And I was like, yeah, I'll just play with them, you know?
Yeah.
And so from there, I just kept playing and playing and playing, and then we got into streaming, and then from there I've been grinding it out like crazy. I've played arguably more Melee within like the last 5 months than I have in my entire life. So,
oh God.
Yeah.
Damn. Well,
yeah, man.
I mean, that's pretty sick. And then,
Yeah,
so what was the first tournament that you ever entered? I'm probably gonna assume it was
First
a Ryerson Weekly.
Yeah, it was a Ryerson Weekly. Yeah, because like I said, I ran them. I had a co-runner, co-founder JC, who ran them with me. So sometimes he would run it so I can enter and stuff like that. So shouts to him. Yeah, and so what happened was that I just joined them, and it's become a meme at this point. I've barely ever done well at a Ryerson Weekly, mostly because somehow magically, I have never fought a Spacey in a Ryerson Weekly except for like one tournament run. That was it.
What?
The first one I went to, I faced double Jigglypuff, and I actually wanted to die. Like it was impossible. Next one I went to, I faced Jigglypuff Marth. The third one I went to though, I did really well. I won amateur bracket then against a longtime rival of mine named Han, and so that was really fun and exciting. It's become a meme on the channel because like I posted the video a while back.
Yeah.
I did a whole analysis on it, talking about like how well I did.
Let me just show you how good I am.
No, honestly. And so like throughout the years, I went to more and more Ryerson Weeklies, and I started doing a little bit better. The main problem is now we're so big that like the level of competition is so high, and now I'm doing like commentary and other stuff now. I don't have much time to enter them as much as I'd like to. But I still play a lot of friendlies, obviously online and both in person as well.
So I think one thing that I wanted to almost like address here is what is it that, well, not even what is it, it's the fact that do you consider yourself as a player to be someone that takes the game more of casually, or not casually, competitively, or casually competitively? And I think you'll be able to, you can decipher between the two, you know?
Yeah, for sure. And you know what, I really don't think, I see what you do with the wording there. I really don't think there's any shame for saying you play a game casually. Like, the game itself is a really fun game. Super Smash Bros. Melee is a great game. I really personally enjoy it a lot. I like a lot of the characters. There's definitely some times I'm a little ragey at times because like I have no idea who designed Roy's hitboxes. But like
we've definitely talked about that on your stream before. We're like, what is that hitbox?
Like, dude, I'm just shocked every single time. I like even some of the ones I hit, I'm just actually shocked because it just does not make sense why they actually hit there.
Exactly.
But anyways, point being though is that I definitely do say I play more casually, right? Like. Like I said, it'd be disingenuous for me to come up here and say, yeah, I want to push Roy to the next level using no tech skill because I think he's a good character, right? It's just not true, right? Like, at the end of the day, I play Roy in Melee because I like the game, I like the engine, and I like the challenge that comes along with playing him like that way, right? So it's just like, I play it basically just to have fun, and I don't think it's fair for me ever to say anything else, right? Like, casually competitively or competitively, like, my goal has never ever been to be top 100. I've had no aspirations to ever be like I need to do XYZ so I can beat Hungry Box in grand finals of Evo, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I could care less. And a lot of people probably don't want me to say that, but like, it's just like, at the end of the day, like playing Roy with no tech skill has no future in terms of like competitively. Like you're not going to get anywhere truly to the top echelons, because the fact of the matter is the game's not getting any more patches. Roy's not getting a buff. You know what I mean? So like I can't be holding out for Roy to get good eventually. So it's just fun.
I think this, and like the fact that you can like come to terms with that and that you're okay with that being your mindset, that helps a whole lot anyway. If you're not trying to admit that you want to go that far, then who the fuck is really gonna like be? Who deserves to be mad at you about that?
Yeah,
like, come on.
I think that's completely fair too. Like it's just like, and hey, if you have aspirations for grandiose stuff with a low tier character, go for it. You do you, honestly. Yeah. But like at the end of the day, it's like I the reason why I'm so chill about my results. I'm so chill if I get like cheesed out or someone camps me on net play. I'm like, that's not a big deal. I'm not here to try to win a tournament. You know, I'm not here to try to like absolutely must optimize my practice time at all times. You know, I'm here to turn on the melee, watch some shenanigans with Roy, and have a good time and talk to people. Right?
Hell yeah.
Like it's never been about the results or the money or the fame that comes with the higher results. It's always just about having fun.
Well, even a little bit ago, you were saying how originally when you got the game, even as a kid, you saw Link being a character in the game that you were super hyped to play as. If you were to go back, maybe those 5 months ago or however long it's been that you've actually been taking it not as seriously as one can to like understand the game,
for sure.
Would you have switched to Link or even any other character?
Okay, so let's just say, like, so you're saying if I actually want to take the game seriously and play it?
No. Still just doing everything that you've been doing, but would you have ever rather done it with a different character?
I think I would have, honestly, if I could go back and choose a character to spend all my time I spent on Roy on a different character, is basically what you're saying. Okay, so I think I'd probably choose YungD0nut. YungD0nut is really cool. He has different play styles based on what you need to do in the matchup. He can play rushdown against like fast fallers and still combo them, but against floaties he actually has tools, right? And the one thing I'm always worried about when I'm streaming, especially, is that like this is gonna sound perhaps a little detrimental, but like when I'm playing as Roy and I have to play if I want to win a match against a floaty, I kind of have to play campy. Yeah. It's impossible for me to fight them fairly because of the nature of my character, right? And it's just not interesting to watch me run back and forth, bait out aerial F smash like 7 times in a row, you know?
Yeah.
And so I'm always about the fans. I'm always about like my viewers, and I always feel bad for them because I'm like, look, do you guys really want to see me like crouch cancel down smash trade with their aerial like 7 times to kill them? Because that's exactly what I have to do to win this matchup.
Right.
And like it's unfortunate. Whereas with, let's say Link or even Link to an extent, they do so much better against floaties and have generally much better all around matchups than Roy, obviously. So like it's kind of like, hey, this is something that would always be entertaining, you know? Even against floaties, I'd be able to do cool bomb into dare or bomb shenanigans or just kite them out or stuff like that, you know? Like there's a bunch of stuff you can do with those types of characters, and they have high skill ceilings just like any character in Melee, really. But perhaps it would be more interesting. I think that would be my answer. My answer is both Links I'd like to learn. Perhaps DK. DK is really cool, but he's honestly just kind of like Roy in many ways.
DK's sick. DK's sick.
DK is sick. DK is sick.
So crazy. No,
DK is actually insane. Dude. Ohai has awoken my mind. I like there's a streamer called Ohai DK. Absolutely spectacular DK main. Does some things I can only dream of. But that's another character. I don't know. Honestly, I legitimately think outside maybe like a few, there's not many Melee characters I would legitimately tell you right to your face I would not want to learn.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
I think maybe like Kirby. Like I'm just not interested about Kirby at all.
Yeah, I wouldn't be either. Kirby, I was gonna even say Mewtwo, maybe. Mewtwo
Nest, like I don't know, they're really weird characters to me. I don't get the appeal.
Yeah.
But like I'm not of course never gonna harsh anyone for playing them. I've seen some crazy people do some crazy stuff. A guy named Sim comes to my channel sometimes, plays me in Mewtwo versus Roy. It's actually a pretty fun matchup. Nightless, another really big Melee streamer, plays Nest, does some really cool stuff with him as well. Like I said, like almost every character has some cool things you can do with them. So at the end of the day, like honestly, anyone who does better than Roy, which is more than half the cast. So
you got quite the selection, man. You got quite the selection. Well, then I guess the last question in terms of in that realm of topics is: was there anyone that when you were starting to learn more and more about the game that helped mentor you or kind of coach you through some things and help you better understand the game, or were you on your own through all that and you kind of figured a lot out on your own?
Yeah, it's difficult for me because if I'm being honest with you, a lot of people, Smashers, shout out to Smashers in general, like a lot of them really do want to help you learn and practice the game.
Of course.
You know what I mean? Like you sit down at a weekly, like during matches, and you're just there for friendlies, and you say, "Hey, I've never played Super Smash Bros. Before. How should I play?" You'll have like 10 people come to you and try to help you and teach you how to play because everyone wants to teach you. Everyone wants more blood in the scene.
Yep.
So I definitely had that. Like a lot of people really sat me down and like really talked to me and tried to get me to learn stuff. And I'll be quite frank with you, like 9 out of 10 of them were like, "Okay, just learn to wave dash." And I'm like, "But I don't want to learn how to wave dash."
Yeah.
Or that's not like, I don't know. I barely know anything about the game. I don't think wave dash is going to help me get better. So even for a long time early on, I didn't wave dash because I just simply didn't want to. And I felt like there's other things to learn that are more important. Like I didn't even know characters' movesets yet, and people were telling me to wave dash. And that's kind of ridiculous.
Right.
So there's a lot of that stuff early on. So I can name a lot of people at Ryerson who really helped me do that. But if I'm being quite honest, my playstyle, people call it pseudo fighting game playstyle, where it's very rigid and it's all about the neutral game more than it is about punish or keep away. It's like very just focused on resetting the neutral as many times as possible and then winning the neutral off of reads. That playstyle is almost exclusively mine. Like I've developed that throughout playing many different games, and we can talk about in the future. The game I'm more predominantly playing is Dungeon Fighter Online,
yep.
Which a game that has literally no block button, is developed almost entirely on spacing and neutral. So the game itself, that game has taught me infinitely more than any single player has in terms of general fighting games. I mean, I'll obviously shout out like people like Moni, Platt, Jamie, who've done a lot of work for me to teach me, like, and actually sit down with me and actually cater to my playstyle. They're like, "Okay, you don't want to wave dash much, that's fine, I'll teach you this," right? Like they gave me some handouts every now and then, but I do have to say I did teach myself 90% of my melee knowledge at least.
Nice. Well, I could seeing the improvement before my eyes. The man's on that come up. So moving forward a little bit, we're gonna do something real quick that all of you that are ever a part of the TheSkilledRoy stream chat can finally just have a command for and shut the hell up about asking this every other freaking day. TheSkilledRoy, if you did not know, doesn't wave dash or L cancel. Holy shit, I'm blowing your mind right now because you've never heard that before. But there's a reason for that. So please let us begin this story and
okay. So it is a bit of a long story. So I do have to go to DFO for it because that's where the whole origin comes from.
Sure.
Yeah. So let's go over this. So for those who are unaware, my secondary tag is Isonade. It's a mythical shark creature for some reason. I was nicknamed it back when I still went by CL Connor Lee for Dungeon Fighter Online tournaments. People gave me this tag called Isonade. And so I took it, and DFO, Dungeon Fighter Online, localized, that's the localized name. The actual name is Dungeon and Fighter. In Korea is a very popular sort of 2.5D pseudo fighting game MMO. It's a really bizarre game to sort of explain to people who haven't seen it. But the competitive scene is very vast and has legitimately large tournaments and huge prize pools. Like the game is super big. Not here though, because in North America it was given to a really bad publisher and it kind of ran into the ground. Yeah, it's rather unfortunate. There's honestly a whole day I could go and talk about DFO because I love that game so much. But point being though is that people always assume that I play low tiers in every game, and to be fair, I do play mid to low tiers in almost every game. But the one game I don't is Dungeon Fighter Online, where I play a character named Shadow Dancer. She was a mid-tier character, but after I showed what she could do, she's now, I think, 6th best character, which is pretty solid. The game has like 70-something characters, so being 6th best is pretty solid. And I think everyone in the top 20 is pretty viable, to be honest.
Okay.
But point being, though, is that every single time the game is actually super high tech skill intensive too. Like there's a lot of really unique small tech, not unlike wave dashing. Like there's a lot of like small things that you can do that can literally optimize your gameplay or make you faster or just to make you better in general. And so what happened was that I'm playing this character, I'd often hear complaints saying like, oh man, you're just playing a high tier. Oh, you're like, even though I'm playing a better character, it's back when the character wasn't even that good, people didn't think she was that good. She's like, oh, you just beat me because you know how to like instant move, which was like one of the commands, one of the advanced techs. You know how to stutter step properly. I'm like, okay, yeah, I do, but that's not why you lost. If I didn't do any advanced tech, I'd still beat you, is what I would think to myself.
Yep.
Right? And constantly, it felt so annoying to have all your wins constantly undermined by people making excuses, saying things like, oh, you're playing a broken character. Your tech skill is like, you're just beating me because you know how to do X. If I knew how to do that, I'd beat you, because like whatever, right?
Yep.
And I would constantly get these really like
John's.
Annoying, yeah, just John's, yeah, just annoying comments on people just complaining about why they lost. And I'm like, you know what, man? I decided that for one tournament, I would do literally just no like advanced tech, just walking around landing combos, right?
Yep.
And that's all I did, and I still won the tournament. And it was just like, it wasn't even hard. The level of difference between me and some of the local competitors at the time was so vast that it literally didn't matter. And so when I got to Super Smash Bros. Melee, and like I said, at the time when I very first started, I took it even less seriously than I did now. And so as evidenced by my picking of Roy. And so I picked Roy, and I was like, yeah, sure. He's one of the worst characters in the game. Who cares? I won't even use tech skill because I'm not planning on going anywhere with this game anyways. And when I started beating people, they're like, oh man, your movement's so good. How do you wave dash like that? I'm like, I'm literally not wave dashing. I'm just dash dancing, dude. They're like, you don't wave dash? And I'm like, no, I don't wave dash. And then one guy mentioned like, oh, why don't you dare forward smash? Because that is something you can do on L cancel Roy. And I'm like, oh, well, I can't. It's unsafe. And I'm like, well, just L cancel it. I'm like, well, I don't L cancel. And they're like, what? You don't L cancel? And then, so what happened was that I just got into this whole thing where I was like, you know what? Like, I don't take this game that seriously. I've always known that to myself, that this game is not like something I'm going to pursue to the upper echelons. So if I can take a character that's this bad, like Roy, playing with no tech skill, and still do pretty decently in Melee, I decided that not only is this a great thing for me, because now I can finally play a character where when I beat someone, they literally have no excuse.
Literally,
right? Like
no excuses.
This character has nothing. Like, you cannot, like, when you lose to Roy, you have no excuses. What do you even say? You know, like, dude, my character doesn't even work for me half the time. The sword just goes through people. So like the end of the day is like people can no longer complain and say like, oh, well, I only lost because Shine's broken or up throw rest is broken. You hear that all the time, right?
Oh yeah.
But what are you gonna say about Roy? I didn't expect your move not to work, and therefore I lost. You know what I mean? Like, it's just so silly, right? And I think at the end of the day, I've sort of mellowed out from the whole like I must beat people. They must admit that they've lost. I'm now more of on the end of like, I want to be sort of like it sounds kind of weird for me to say, but I kind of want to be a sort of an inspiration and driving force for Melee players, because I'm sure a lot of people have stopped playing the game or are not interested in playing the game because they feel like their character isn't good, or because they don't have the time to grind out on tech skill, because like they just feel like, hey, like what can I do if I just can't wave dash fast enough, you know?
Yeah.
Well, I'm out here, I'm doing my best, man, and I'm doing pretty decent. I'm not wave dashing. I'm playing arguably one of the worst characters if you play him Techless. Like, I think anyone can do well at Melee to a decent level, right? I'm sure everyone's had that one or two friends who get salty with Melee because their character isn't good or because Fox McCloud's broken, which he is. But
nice little subtle ad.
Thank you. And stuff like that, right? I think it's really important for me to like sort of be there for people, to point to and say like, look, the skilled Roy can get to this level playing Roy no tech skill. I'm sure you can take Link or Falcon or Ganon to a higher level with tech skill. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So that's sort of kind of what I want to be moving forward from now. I just want to be someone that the low and mid tiers can look up to and say like, hey, this guy can do okay. I can do okay too.
And there it is. Stop going in his damn Twitch chat and asking him every 10 seconds. You want the TLDR or do you want that full explanation every in 5 minutes.
Honestly, well, I think I really did want to talk to you about it because it's a pretty nice story. I think overall,
it's a great story. I think that's a very humble story. A very what's the? Well, I mean, it's just overall, it's interesting. It's interesting to see the mindset of I'm gonna try and push. I'm going to push for something that I believe is doable, and whether people agree with me or not, that's not their decision to make. This is all on me, and if you're having a good time at the end of it all, then that's what's going to matter.
Right? You do you, and that's all that really matters to me. Like, at the end of the day, like, picking Roy and using a tech skill is an obvious declaration that I'm not trying to win, but I'm trying to push myself in a unique way, right? And I want to then be something that people can say, okay, that's how far he got with Roy. I can do better with a better character.
Right. And I think with that is what kind of led me to this next question, which I kind of feel like I already know the answer to, but I want to ask anyway. Sure. Do you ever have the sniffing, or not the sniff, what the the itching feeling to make a Smurf account that you only play very, very technical on? Yeah.
Oh no, who says I don't? Watch out, ladies and gentlemen.
That's what I'm getting at. Like, so we got like Pew Pew You out here going Pandora's Fox on us. When are we gonna get the unskilled Roy that's just hamburgers?
No, yeah, just like he plays like Falco and multi-shines you in the corner until your shield breaks. Yeah,
honestly.
honestly, I was thinking about it in my head. I was like, maybe one day. Maybe. If I were to be honest, like if I were to do a complete changeover of things, I think my character would be Sheik, and I'd play. She's a character who doesn't require as much tech skill. Right. You know, like you can play her pretty chill with very little tech skill. Wave dashing and L canceling is still good in certain aspects because her aerials don't really short hop aerial very often, so therefore she doesn't have to L cancel very frequently. Mm-hmm. And then on top of that, her wave dash isn't amazing, and her rolls are pretty good, and she has good movement speed already. So she's like, she doesn't need to use those tools, right? But she can. Right, and so I think if I were to really choose that type of the Pandora's box, so to speak, it would be like it would be probably I'd be probably playing Sheik, or you know what? Actually, maybe even Peach. Peach is another character who doesn't have to L cancel because of flow cancel.
Flow cancels, yeah.
And her wave dash isn't that great, so it's not something to really worry about too often, you know. So off the top of my head, those are the two things I'm just like, maybe not. But
so you heard it here first. If you ever see some random Peach or Sheik on netplay that just doesn't look like they're doing tech, but they're still beating your ass, it's very likely it's this guy right here.
Hey man, well, as a moderator for the Anthers Ladder, I can't condone alternate accounts.
Oh, that's right. Congratulations on that, by the way. That's pretty sick. You became a mod on Anthers Ladder.
Yeah, so basically, I made friends with a guy named Profane, one of the best Zelda players I personally know. Wrote the Tome of Profane, this gigantic tech skill list of Zelda. And so I was talking to him. I was like, I'm here all the time, man. I'd really like to mod or help out with Anther, because Anther is an amazing guy, by the way.
Super busy boy.
Oh yeah, he's an absolutely incredible person, and done a lot for the community, especially the netplay community, obviously. Mm-hmm. And so I really wanted to sort of be there and help him out any way I could. Like, I've already subscribed to him. I do as much as I can in terms of supporting him financially, but like if there's anything like, and he needs an extra pair of hands, like he needs someone to code something for him or give him any ideas, like I'm always here for him. And so eventually they said, you know what, why don't you just mod and help us with the reports and stuff like that? Because at the end of the day, like the time zones for all the mods are all different, right? So like none of us are all awake at certain times, and I'm basically an insomniac, so like I'm up all the time reading reports, and unfortunately I'm not able to discuss the reports with people, obviously.
Of course.
But I gotta say, they're the most hilarious things I've ever read in my entire life. Like anything from people like being like absolutely degenerate about like laser camping, or people saying like, "Oh my God, you up through rest me, get a life," and I'm like, why are you being so hatred just over friendlies of netplay?
Honestly.
But it's actually crazy. But yeah, so that's that whole story real quick.
That's amazing. I think wrapping up on the whole technical SkilledRoy thing. Now you said like you had originally learned how to wave dash and you had originally learned how to L cancel. Now was this ever anything that became kind of difficult, or like let's say, because I know like moving into advanced tech, you have like double shine grabs, you have like ledge dashing stuff.
Ledge dashing, yeah.
So was there ever a point that sometimes when you were practicing tech back when you did, that it kind of became too difficult, and did it ever help lean you towards this this play style of just not wanting to use any?
Yes and no. So a lot of people don't aware of this. I have really high APM. You watch my Osu streams and stuff like that if you want to. There's a lot of, I have really fast fingers in terms of like what I can do with whatchamacallit, with like game controllers and stuff like that.
Yeah,
like I said, tech skill DFO is also really high. On top of that, even I'm a magician, so like I have good finesse in my fingers. Yeah, I just didn't tell you that. Yeah.
Oh, we're gonna talk about that later. I'm adding that.
Yeah,
keep going.
For sure. Anyway, so point being though is that like quite frankly, there's a lot of tech skill I can do if I really put my time and effort into it and really sat down and did it. I picked up wave dashing very quickly. I picked up L canceling pretty quickly, and I could do even more than that too. I learned how to multi-shine pretty early. I'm not amazingly good at it, and now I'm out of practice, so I'm probably sure I couldn't do it now. But like, I picked up pretty quickly after maybe like a week of practicing. But the point being though was that it wasn't so much the inability to do it; it was the inability to play how I wanted to while doing it.
Okay.
Like when I was in neutral with someone, I'm like, okay, I'll wave dash forward and then F smash. And I focused too much on landing the wave dash, and then I get hit out of something because I wasn't focusing on what they were doing. You know, or like I would ledge dash into their up smash because I didn't see it because I was focusing on landing the ledge dash. Right, there was a lot of these times where I was just getting called out constantly because I would be too focused on trying to do some sort of tech skill movement that would end up getting me killed because I wasn't focusing. And if I ever tried to multitask, like focus on them while L canceling or wave dashing or something, I might mess up. I might air dodge too high and then get punished for it. Right, like it was this constant like double-edged sword. Either I landed the tech skill and I did see what they were doing and I got hit, or I was focusing on them and I messed up the tech skill, right? Every now and then I would do really well. I'd be like, oh yeah, up throw, wave dash back, up throw, wave dash back, up throw, like all this cool stuff like that. But then for every time like that, there was an equal amount of times where I messed up a wave dash grab and then I got punished for it, right?
So on to the newest segment being added to the show is Tournament Tales, where I'm going to say the name of a tournament that you have attended, and we need a funny or favorite moment, set, or story. EGLX 2018, go.
Okay, so EGLX 2018 was, people are calling it a major or a mini major. I don't know what people are calling it. It was my first major / mini major that I commentated. So I had a bunch of really great stories there, sort of interacting with the crowd, interacting with various players and stuff like that. Generally speaking, a pretty fun tournament. I wonder what it'll be. Nah, it's not going to be the recycled door story. That one's a clown fiesta. But I don't know. There's a lot of really great stuff. I think my favorite match, though, and even set, I should say, was realistically probably AMSA versus M2K. I was going to say Ryan Ford versus Hugs. It was definitely up there in my head because he's a homie and one of the Toronto boys. But the AMSA versus M2K was absolutely one of the most great matches I've ever seen in my life. And seeing AMSA do so well against one of the gods of the game was absolutely spectacular, right? Like across each of the games, he had a commanding lead, did so well in each of the matches. And even that one match where he almost lost, he had the absolutely incredible presence of mind to go for, I'm not sure if you've seen this GIF. M2K gets him off stage. And as he's recovering in, M2K knows that he's not going to make it. M2K goes for the fair to make sure he gets the kill. And AMSA neutral Bs with Yoshi to eat him in midair, and then air dodges up, putting himself over the egg. And if M2K hadn't realized what was happening and hadn't mashed out, he would have fallen down first and died. But instead what happened was that he just barely lived, and it was the most insane thing ever. Like it was like inches away, and M2K like freaking out. If people zoomed on the player cam, he's like, oh! And like honestly, if AMSA had been fighting any other top god, I can't even say with certainty that he wouldn't have been able to mash out of it in time. It was like just freaky. Like it's hard to say the exact thing. But in general, like the tournament had a bunch of other great stories too. Like you have the amazing dominance of Zane in the Zane versus Nightmare match. You have like even some really great matches between like the teams of Ecstatic doing really well. I don't know, man. The tournament overall was really great, and it's really unfortunate. Do you know the whole drama around the tournament by any chance, Donut?
About the grands?
The door?
Yeah, the grands. That was unfortunate.
Yeah, so yeah, it's really unfortunate. So basically what happened was that let me set the record straight. As a favor to my good friend Toronto Joe, the TO for the TO and organizer for the event, for Smash. This first of all, let me dispel the fact that people think it was just one single door being opened. It wasn't. It was a large like cargo door, like those cargo holds that open up that they can attach directly to like a cargo truck.
I think so. Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about.
It's like 3 doors wide, 2 doors tall.
Yeah.
One of those were opened.
Oh.
So a lot of people thought, one single door was open and Club suddenly can't play the game. No, it was like a pretty gigantic door, and it was really cold out. So basically what happened was that one of the vendors tried to leave the venue early. And it had nothing to do with Smash at all. It had to do with the venue. EGLX is also a gaming expo, right? So there's a bunch of vendors and stuff like that, handling their wares and showing some of their stuff. And one of them tried to get out of the venue early, even though she was only allowed to leave at 8 o'clock, which hadn't been 8 o'clock yet. And so she apparently found a way to get the door open, and security had to have like almost a tug of war match with her to try to get the door back closed again. Apparently, yeah, it was apparently a crazy story. Like again, I wasn't there for all of it, but I do want to state that like right off the top of my head, like it had nothing to do with the Toronto staff. It had nothing to do with EMG. Had nothing to do with EGLX people even. Like it was, they had no control over it. This vendor literally just decided to break all the rules, and no one was prepared for the insanity. But yeah, it was just really unfortunate.
Definitely.
But yeah, generally speaking, yeah, it was a really crazy tournament.
I was even going to say, like, you look at any of the top players, or not even top players, a lot of just players that went to that event, and almost every single one of them had nothing but good things to say about it. Yeah. Of course, everyone pointed out the door thing, but they were I think I can remember looking at least like 3 or 4 different tweets where I think their positive tweets ended with, the doors sucked, but what can you do? Like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, and thankfully we live in a time and place where people were educated enough to understand that, like, hey, one small mishap at the very end of Grands was like not going to make and break the rest of the whole tournament, which had run amazingly smooth. By the way, shout outs to some of the absolutely most incredible TOing staff of EMG. We have some of them are actually Ryerson people, or people even going to Ryerson. We have my man Gilbert, a really cool guy. Just recently started working a lot more with EMG. He's a guy who I sort of left the whole gaming area in charge of back when I left, became more of a streamer. And a guy named Person. That's his tag, Person.
That's actually his tag is Person.
That's actually his tag.
Shout out to Person. Let's go.
Yeah. A really good friend of mine. Absolutely cool dude. He's really young, but he's put so much effort and work into the Smash 4 scene. A scene that even seemingly the players sometimes don't care about at times, which is really truly unfortunate. And he's put so much work and effort into it. He's already being recognized for how great he is. And that goes nowhere to say like how much respect I have for the EMG crew, which is like T.O. Joe, Nate Money, the EMG is the people who sponsor hacks every now and then for certain tournaments. They run Gommel, which is their main claim to fame, obviously. Absolutely spectacular tournament series. But yeah, honestly, EMG and even Media XP, the people who are in charge of the stream, everything went so well. Except for the door, which is like that's and it sucks that EGLX has to constantly be except for the door punchline.
It's kind of a good punchline though.
It is a good punchline. Like literally everything went well except for the one thing.
Except for the
so except for like, if you think about it, the only thing being bad being the door. That's pretty good, Like some tournaments run super late. Some tournaments have absolutely awful stuff happen during them, like the pool bracket doesn't happen, or like God's Gatekeeper, some things are disorganized, like all this etc. stuff, right?
Some tournaments suck, except for the doors. Except this tournament ruled.
This one was the opposite.
Yeah.
So I mean, like as far as things go, I mean, I think it's a pretty good trade-off. That's all I'm saying.
I couldn't agree more. I'm doing everything I can to either go to Gommel, EGLX 2019, literally anything.
No, please tell me if you go to Gommel. It's actually incredible.
You know it, guys. Shout out to just Canada tournaments. I can't think of a single one that has been run poorly, and granted I can't ever say that I've been around as long as like some of these big names, but like you guys have a good rep behind you. Keep that shit up.
Like I said, like a vast majority of that, I'll be quite frank, really comes from EMG. EMG is the company that really organizes and TOs 99% of the Smash related events, and now they're doing DBZ as well.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it's really sick. And so like they've given me a lot of opportunities. I'm on the mic at almost all their events now doing commentary, which I endlessly thankful for, obviously. But legitimately, they did CSL as well with World Gaming. Honestly, they've done so much work to help support the scene. T.O. Joe, like an incredibly cool guy, the owner of BMG, and has done infinite steps to move forward the community. Be sure to check out T.O. Joe, Nate Money, Gilbert, Person, these people I'm mentioning. If you ever want like good advice for what tournaments to go to in Toronto, just stay glued to their Twitters, check them out, because they're the ones who are running the big tournaments now. Like, they're the ones you got to be watching.
Shout out the EMG and Ontario crew. Guys, keep doing what you're doing. You guys are killing it out there. So let's move off of the tournament tales and let's focus a little bit more on you for a minute. You're the guest. You're the special guest here, the community spotlight time. Let's talk a little bit about your Smash Ladder placing. So we talked earlier about how, sure, you don't play the game competitively in the aspect of you want to be the best in the world, but you did hit gold last quarter 4 of 2017, and you got to a pretty high. You were high in gold from what I remember.
Yeah, I was gold 1, I believe.
Yeah,
or gold 2, or high gold 2. I think I just got into gold 1. And I lost one match, and I got put into gold 2, and then I was just hovering around gold 2, gold 1.
Nonetheless, not a bad ranking to be. Granted,
I mean, isn't I don't know. To be honest, if I'm being quite honest, I'm just not. I don't think gold's that hard to achieve. If I'm being quite honest, I don't want to sleep on anyone who's in the lower rankings.
Sure.
It's just, I don't think it's that hard at all. Like, I didn't really try at all. Like, I'll be quite frank. It's something that came with just playing the matches through, having a good time, staying focused. Like I said, playing a Roy with no tech skill already shows like how if gold 2/1 is impressive, this just goes to show you how much more those people at home can do with like a better character and with actual tech skill, right?
Well, I'm saying more with that being said, and then also the whole, excuse me, the whole like there are some people I'll even say that are underranked. Like there are some that I've played some kids in silver that are crazy.
There's a guy named Monolith. I think he's in silver right now. He's at least a platinum level player. This guy's insane. Sorry.
Yeah. No, that's totally fine. I think at the end of the day, claiming or at least making it to gold is at least like it's a pretty good step. But what I'm gonna relate that to is how right now, at least in the new season, you are currently unranked. So the reason I bring this up is to say, even though you don't have intentions of becoming the best in the world or trying to be insane, do you intend on at least maybe even putting a personal goal onto yourself to beat your last quarter rank, or to just, who knows, maybe even be one of the best on the Smash Ladder? Like, is there anything
I feel you. And you know what? It's definitely something that's crossed my mind. My main problem is that I like to keep a lot of my Smash play to being on stream, because it's like where I really feel like I can thrive a lot and play off of my chat and stuff like that.
Yep.
So the problem is, though, is that a lot of people come to my stream and message me directly. It's like, hey, Connor, want to play some matches, right? And I'm like, yeah, I'd love to. And the thing is, since I've played them so many times, and since I've done so well against them, and I'm like, okay, I know that I can beat this guy, because my play style is very read-focused, and playing the same person like multiple times throughout a month, I've definitely understood what their play style is, and I'm confident I can beat them in a best of 5 or best of 3. It doesn't feel genuine to me to then challenge them to a ranked match.
Sure,
you know what I mean? And then beat them at the ranked match and be like, haha, I stole some points off them because I knew I could beat them, right?
Yeah.
And I don't want to feel like that my viewers have to come into my channel and have to fight me in ranked. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, so I always challenge them to friendlies and keep things fair that way. And the problem is now I'm getting slightly more popular on Twitch. It's like more and more people are wanting to play me in friendlies, and therefore people will then want to. It's harder for me to say no to people. That's honestly why I haven't got a rank this season, just because of all the stuff like that, right? And it's just like, perhaps I could really try to climb higher if I really wanted to. As things move forward now, I'm approaching my 1 year of streaming on Melee, and I've been doing some thinking about it. This quarter, I wouldn't expect to see anything too serious for me. I'm trying to hit at least gold again.
Okay.
But the objective, my goal at the end is, I think if I really wanted to climb, the real understanding thing here is I would have to snipe basically just Spaceys and Falcon realistically. Like, playing, the one main problem I have with Anther, bless his heart, is that his ranking system isn't very good.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, like, as a Roy player, I could theoretically, like I said, I didn't really try to try it all, and I still got gold 2/gold 1.
Right.
If I really wanted to, I could really game the system and only fight Spacies, right? Spacies and Falcons, all the way up to Platinum, if I really wanted to, right? So the question here is that, like, do I really care enough about rankings to just specifically fight only the matchups I'm good at, right? And I don't think I am, right? So there's that. At the same time, though, Anther did add a new feature recently where if you get really high ranks, you get a green name on Anther's ladders. I think it's like top 50 or top 15.
Oh, and you want that tag.
And I'm like, I kind of want the tag. I mean, I already have the purple name for being Anther's mod, but like, I kind of want another one.
I feel that.
So I'm like, you know what? Maybe not this quarter, because it's kind of like we're already a little bit into it already, right?
Yeah.
But next quarter, I'm gonna try at least to hit plat, plat fighting everybody, and then if I want to climb past plat, I think it's pretty much impossible, given that there's a lot of floaties that are just like I always meme and say that Peach and Samus, for example, are 100-0 matchups, but I truly believe they're almost unwinnable. A player of much lower skill level than me could beat me with those characters because they're just simply unwinnable for Roy. Crouch canceling, down smashing with those two characters make it impossible for Roy to do really anything. And yes, there's answers to it like grabs and stuff like that, but the mileage you get, you'd have to get the grab like 100 times to even equal like maybe twice of their down smashes, right? So it's just like, if I really wanted to climb into that upper echelon and really get to like the top players on net play, I feel like I'd have to be disingenuous with it, you know? I feel like I would have to fight only Spacies and Falcon, right? And at the end of the day, and if I'm willing to do that, does my ranking even mean anything then? If I'm getting it in such a quote unquote scummy way, you know? I feel that. It's kind of like a double standard for me. It's kind of hard. So I am gonna say, for the record, I'm gonna try to hit plat for. I'm gonna try to hit plat for by facing everyone, like taking all comers type thing.
Okay.
If my chat really wants to see me like snipe only Spacey players, all the way up to
maybe someday.
up to above plat, maybe another time. I think Anther, I really want to talk to Anther about like what we're gonna do about ranking systems. Like I wish the ranking systems didn't full reset you, for example.
Yeah.
Like I wish, like for example, if I ended the season at gold, I should be placed into silver at least.
Yeah.
Right. And then the wins I get should be based on that. So I think you need like what, 8 wins or 9 wins or something like that.
I think so. It's 8. I think it's 8.
I think it's 8, right? So like let's say I ended the season in gold, right? Then based on my performance, let's say I win like 5 matches, I should still be like gold 3. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like sometimes like the placement matches are kind of shenanigans sometimes, and you can get placed a little bit lower than I really feel like most players actually deserve to be at, right? So it's kind of hard for me to really to justify that. But like I said, these are all like small asides I could get into way too much about. So overall, it's just like yeah, to it. Not this quarter. This quarter's be chill for me for now.
Sure.
But next quarter, I'm gonna try to hit flat.
Nice. Do you have any idea, or not any ideas, but do you ever think of practice regimens or like any other improvement ideas to practice when maybe you're off stream that'll help you progress further, or do you handle every form of Smash practice when you're streaming?
That's an interesting question, actually. So I'm not sure if you're aware of this theory. There's a theory in the fighting game community called heart, body, mind. It refers to the fact that most players are one of 3 types predominantly, and they're the 3 criteria you base a player on. Mm-hmm. Okay, so body in a Smash context would be players who can like quadruple shine or like frame perfect wave dash out of shield, right? Like players who are so amazingly good at reacting, so amazingly good at very finesse, high technical movements, right? These are your hacks monies. These are your like Leffins, you know, these players who are like absolutely hands down above everyone else in terms of what is demanded on a physical requirement, right? Then next you have Mind. These are the players who are all about understanding what is optimal, what is the best choice at this situation, like what move covers all three of my opponent's options, stuff like that, right? This is also kind of hacks. This is also like M2K, right? Like these are your more like mind-based players who don't put a lot of movements in, but every movement they do put in counts, you know?
Yep.
And lastly, Heart. And Heart is what Mango is and what I can perfectly consider myself to be, which is a player who doesn't necessarily focus on high amounts of movements and high amounts of like frame data and understanding the game, but rather wins the game off of reads, wins the game off of understanding the opponent, right? Like playing Melee with me, a lot of people say is really frustrating because it's like I play every character the same, because at the end of the day, I'm not fighting character. I'm facing player to player.
You're facing
right?
that person.
Exactly, yeah. So when I sit down and plug in Roy, it doesn't matter who I play.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I could pick Pichu. I could pick like Marth. I probably will do this roughly around the same level. Roy's my most comfortable pick because I'm most familiar with him now and I understand him the best.
Mm-hmm.
But across the board, I can beat people with characters I've never played before because I just understand what they're gonna do and then just punish with like whatever thing I can do. Like people always joke around with me like, Connor, if you actually learn the game, you gotta be good because my neutral is so insanely good.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you watch my average matches, it's like I literally win like 10 games of neutral to get a stock.
Yeah.
But realistically, most pro players have to win neutral once and they get a full 0 to death, right? So it's interesting. So every player has multiple levels of this. Like obviously, I consider myself high in heart and relatively high in mind and low in body because obviously I don't use any tech skill.
Sure.
But like that's the sort of theory that sort of moves forward with that. So when it comes to practicing Smash outside of it, heart players are kind of beneficial because no matter what game we play, we're practicing learning how to read our opponents, right? I could be playing chess, I could be playing League of Legends, I could be playing like any other fighter, and I'll understand and comprehend what players are going to do and be able to counteract that. And as I get more and more intelligent with reading people and understanding like the tempo of a match, the better I'll get at all games. A lot of people always joke around with me saying, Connor, like, why am I like at least decent at every game I play? It's because this sort of mentality sort of fits across all games, right? Like no matter what fighter I play, I understand how to block. I understand what an opening is. I understand like how to bait someone into an opening, right?
Yeah.
Like DBC fighters, I literally just picked up and I'm already doing okay at. Like it's stuff like that. And so at the end of the day, like I don't really practice Melee because like I obviously don't do tech skill practice, right? I don't just like jam out on Yoshi's doing wave dashes and wave lands. But instead I play other games and I still play Smash occasionally too off stream, but I'll just be like, okay, I think I can read this. And as I pick up more and more game knowledge in other games even, I understand how to condition people better. One combo that was actually, I thought up with Roy, that another Roy main threw my way, is called the Connor combo.
Oh.
And it's not named after me, which is the funniest part. It's named after another Roy main named Connor, who spells his name the same way. And on Anther's Ladder, you won't believe what his name is. It's TheSkilledRoy.
Are you? Oh no.
His name is TheSkilledRoy. His name is Connor, and he mains Roy. And he came up with the same combo sequence as me that I had come up with. I hadn't named it anything. You can confirm with this. His name is Asus on my Discord. He's an absolutely amazing Roy player. He even beats me in some Roy videos we play sometimes. And what happens is it's a side B variation into the meteor, and then because most players don't expect the meteor, they're usually holding in, and then you can then charge F smash the other way, and their character will automatically roll that way, and you'll get the forward smash. And so this is what like a quintessential play that sort of got developed because we understand how people's like abilities work out, you know, like we understand they're probably going to roll this way, right, and stuff like that. And if it doesn't happen the first time, then you won't go for it as often, obviously. But like this is like one of the quintessential people reads that people are like, Connor, how did you read that he was going to roll right out of there of all times, right? It's because like it's something that you could come up with.
That's dirty.
Yeah, it's pretty silly. Like honestly, I might do like a super cut of all the times I've landed it. I've landed it countless times now. That and something we call the Infinity combo. This was another combination that we came up with. The joke always goes that Roy doesn't actually have any combos. So
and yet you combo.
I can find some ways to do it.
Right.
So the Infinity combo is this absolutely legendary sequence. I don't even know how to describe it, but I down smash someone, right? And the down smash animation for Roy has actually a really, really high hit stun. It puts them in a lot of hit stun, and it sort of throws people off how long they can't act in it. The thing is, you can't combo off of it because the down smash animation for Roy is equally long.
Yeah.
He slices one way and then he swipes the other way and then slowly gets up. So like he can't do anything off of it as much as I would like to. However, the animation is really deceptive because as it shows him getting up, you can actually put in actions. So what will happen here is that like I'll down smash, right?
Yeah.
They'll be coming down, they'll be like an inch off the ground, and most people inherently they see me still stuck in the animation, they're like, oh, easy aerial, right? And what ends up happening instead is that they do a jump because they're too close to the ground, right? To do an aerial, so they'll do like a short hop in the air, and then they'll do like the quintessential examples with like Ganon or like Falco. I'll hit them with a down smash. They're like an inch away from the ground, so they'll jump up and then dare me. But the thing is, I know they're gonna do that, so I just counter, and then I kill them. Okay. Yeah, and so this was named the Infinity Combo, not because it's an infinite combo, but because I fought a guy named Infinity Knives. And what happened was that I down smashed him. He was playing Fox. He did back air on the way down. I countered it. He died, and then afterwards he did this insanely long salty message to me, talking about why if I played melee like a normal human being, he would have beaten me. Wow. If you want to see this, check out my YouTube channel. It's Salt Mines, I think 1 or 2.
Yep.
And it's actually the most hilarious. Like, I don't even have words to describe how funny it is, how angry it made someone.
In the VOD of this, I'll make sure I link that video. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about? Yeah, awesome. Yeah, so it's the down smash counter is another one. So, sorry, anyways, looping back around to your initial question, is that, like, a lot of this stuff was not developed by me, like, thinking to myself while playing melee, oh yeah, I'm gonna forever down smash counter, right? It was always been a thing, like, in my head, like, as I play other games and get more accustomed to other games, I'm now becoming more and more aware of understanding people's emotions and where they are in a game. You can read a lot from people based on how they play a game or how they act in a game, and then counteracting that is pretty easy, especially when you have arguably one of Roy's best moves, a move that counters people and instantly kills them, basically. So it sort of works out that way. So in terms of practice, melee, it's almost like I play other games to practice melee. It's kind of weird. No,
that's kind of sick. I like it. I've wanted to try something very similar. I know even before we started the live show today, I was asking you, what other games do you play? You ever play like Fortnite? But like we'll talk about that later. But I bring this up because, like, so I've been trying to play, let's just throw out Fortnite, for example. I've been trying to play that a lot more lately, and I think one aspect that I'm even trying to implement into my melee that I've noticed about Fortnite is a different form of patience that, like, I'm used to. So Fortnite, clearly you have to run around, you're going to try and find people, you need to find ammo and build specific situations, blah, 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 blah. You got everyone in my Twitch chat, you better have played Fortnite. You know what I'm talking about. So I think the patience that I've learned about is finding positions that you can be safe within. You can find your own advantage and play off those advantages. And yes, you lose some of those situations, but it helps you learn when you should do this, how you should do it again, and how you should go about it and change certain things. And I see exactly what you're talking about, where you play other games and you learn other things. I think there are some people I might have interviewed before that say they don't even play the game, they go and read. They go outside and they just breathe. You know, some people meditate. People do lots of different for these games to become better.
I was going to say one thing. For those of you who legitimately want to understand and learn read-based or heart-based gameplay in fighting games or in games in general, there's a lot of great studies learning about how to condition opponents and reading into other stuff, like if you ever want to learn how to read someone, if you ever want to learn how to be like, oh, I know exactly what this man's going to do next. Like, there's a lot of great studies online by top fighting game professionals who have done a lot. Like, for those of you who want to, they can message me directly, and I can send them some good reading that I've done on it. Because reading and studying games is, in game theory especially, I think is more conductive to me personally. Like, I understanding how general human perception works and how they most humans will try to accomplish a situation matters a lot. This is the sort of case in games like, say, a game I play a lot is Rainbow Six Siege, which is almost half strategy game and half shooter.
Oh yeah, it's so crazy.
It's a really great game. If you want a game that's half like pure skill and half like understanding people, like that game is almost perfect. There's a character for everyone in that game, and like being able to understand and manipulate people's thought process and being able to understand like what someone's going to do before they even think of what they're going to do is like really key in a lot of games. And reading about this, it's called Yomi in Japan. The study of understanding opponents is really important in almost any game, even chess. Like what's so fascinating about Yomi is that you can, by learning about what the opponent's going to do before they know how to do it, you are effectively being able to translate into any game. Every game has an opponent. That's the point of games, right?
Right.
And assuming player versus player, PvE obviously doesn't. But you know what I mean.
Wait, you're telling me Putt Putt Saves the Zoo doesn't have online play?
Oh man, so sorry.
Here.
Oh god, dude, Putt Putt Travel Through Time is my jam, man.
Oh, that's another good one. Yes,
dude,
I forgot
let's
that
go.
one.
Yo, Pajama Sam, dude, I'm all over that.
Yes.
Oh my god, good times. Anyway, so the point being though is that like any game you play, like it's being able to study your opponent and understand what they're going to do is just so crucial. Like it's a fundamental thing in almost any game, and it takes a lot of empathy and understanding of the game itself to be able to do it. But reading up on games, reading up on the theory of people, reading like things like the Will to Keep Winning by Daigo is an incredible book, legendary fighting game player. All this other great stuff. Like there's a lot of great stuff there for people who really want to read.
The Inner Game of Tennis, that's one everyone will say.
Yeah. Like quite frankly, if I don't like putting people on blast, especially as like a more casual player. But if I had $1 for every up and coming player, especially not just Melee, of any game in general, who's always said to me like, "Oh, I want to get better," but they don't put any actual work in. They just keep sitting at the same thing, doing the same stuff, and wondering why they're not improving. Like, don't get me wrong, playing people is a great way to learn and grow as a player, but it's only one way to do it. And if you're not having success in improving in that way, you have to wonder, why don't you try studying it? Why don't you try learning your opponents? Why don't you try learning frame data? Like the amount of people who play Melee or play like fighting games, especially, this is where it's especially criminal, and who say they want to improve but don't learn frame data. Like, I don't know what to tell you, man. Like I'm giving you a definite way to completely 100% give you a way to understand the game better, right? And if you're too lazy to learn frame data and all this extra stuff, like, can you really blame anyone but yourself when you don't improve? I don't know. Like, and it's kind of unfortunate I have to put people on blast like that, but it's something that's very common, especially when I'm doing coaching for League of Legends, for example, where people would come up to me, they're like, "Oh man, my team's just bad. I can't get any better," but yet they don't understand basic fundamentals of a game that are just like listed out in the rules. It's really silly. Like
it's probably tilting. Yeah.
Oh, it's super tilting for me as a coach. It's like I get it all the time. It's like they're like, "Oh man, my team did so bad this game." I'm like, "Yeah, but you didn't do X, Y, or Z.
Yep.
Why didn't you do those things?" "Oh, I didn't know you could do that." I'm like, "Well, yeah, because you're not actively trying to improve." Like people who say they want to try to improve versus people who are actually improving are two very different things. And that's why like playing other games or just taking a breather from Melee sometimes and just thinking about Melee or talking about Melee or reading about Melee is almost just as good, because practicing bad habits over and over and over again is only going to ingrain those bad habits. And this is why I really suggest you guys check out, if you guys want to see some really great like content creators for Melee, there's Micro Melee. This guy does mini tutorials on Melee all the time. You have SSBM tutorials, which is like the guys who've done like So You Think You're a Marth Player. They've done some really great tutorials in the past. You have Sleepy K, also another streamer who's a really great coach on Melee and stuff like that. You can give him like a small donation and he'll look over your matches for you. Like there's so many other resources out there besides just grinding out tech skill. Like I don't know. If I had $1 for every Falco I met who knows how to quadruple shine but doesn't know what basic neutral is, like I don't know what to tell you. Like it's just something that I come across a lot. And then afterwards they make Johns about like how Roy's I don't know the matchup because Roy. Because Roy, yeah. And I'm like, okay, look, no, like
stop
this character Roy, like if you were quoting not knowing the matchup against Roy, I really don't know what to tell you, because like your character is so vastly superior in so many ways. Quoting the matchup is perhaps maybe one reason why you feel uncomfortable fighting Roy, but it can't be the sole reason why you lose.
Yeah.
If you can't adapt mid-match, like to a character who has like
that's why you're losing. You can't blame the character. You didn't adapt. You didn't even think about what you were doing wrong.
Exactly right. Like if you hit by the same thing 4 times in a row, it doesn't matter what character I'm playing.
Yeah.
Right.
Those are the same type of people that ask the broad questions of, oh, how do I? Excuse me,
tips,
I keep dying
tips?
when I double laser from edge.
God.
Why?
Dude.
like shut up. How do I beat
Dude.
Peach? LRA start, turn off the GameCube, and go do literally anything else.
Yeah, it's just like there's always people out there who they want to be handed answers without actually working for them, and it's just like, yeah, I can tell you, like, for example, like, okay, for the like Fox Peach is like, you don't want to trade with her when she's on low percent and stuff like that, right? Like, I can tell you those things, but putting them into practice, understanding what you have to do in certain situations. Melee is an infinite game, right? Like, there's so many different unique situations and understanding moments that I couldn't possibly coach you through everything. You have to develop these habits and thought processes on your own. Yep. Right, and it's something that doesn't really happen very frequently with a lot of players who constantly ask things like, "Oh, any tips? Oh, can you help me do X, Y, Z?" and then refuse to do it. Like, yeah, that's unfortunate. Yeah.
Well, I think that's a pretty good explanation for everything there. I think we got moving on though to my final topic here is your whole Twitch community not even creation, but just your growth. You know, you've gained quite the amount of popularity for someone that's only been streaming for the short time that you have, about 5 months or so. You've had I think
I'm streaming like this is my 9th month.
Oh, 9th month, my bad. Sorry, coming up on a year. I forgot about that. I lose numbers on this sheet.
No, it's surprised. It's been about like 5 months where I seriously started getting like really serious about streaming Melee. Like I was streaming before that, but I'll be quite frank, I wasn't streaming only Melee. I was streaming a game called Osu. It's a rhythm game.
Oh, right.
But yeah, like I was doing a bunch of other stuff. Like I wasn't really focusing on Melee at all, or quite frankly, even putting too much thought into it.
Well, and so with that, you've just gained such a high following and a very, what I would almost say, it seems like your stream is very positive and very, very, not even outgoing, but they're very excited and happy a lot of the time just to get to play against you and to commentate with you and talk with you. And I don't want to say what do you accredit this to per se, but I want to say that I can definitely see those qualities just out of you as a person. Do you accredit it to yourself, or do you have any other things that you would accredit your following to?
Okay, so I think number one is that I think my first 4 months versus my second 5 months, there was a huge difference in terms of like when I really put myself forward or not. I think if I had been streaming the first 4 months the way I've been streaming the past 5 months, I would be much bigger right now. Am I quite honestly? There's a lot of work that I have put into the stream. At the end of the day, the stream quality and stuff like that, like having a good personality, being a fun person to play against and all this sort of stuff, I'll be quite frank, these are things that almost a lot of good personalities will have, right? This is like sort of a personality based thing. And if I'm being quite honest, the main thing that I think really a lot of streamers sort of miss out on in terms of growing a popularity, growing a lot on Twitch, it's not like how good you are as a personality. It's not how good you are even at the game unless you're like a top player. It's really like just fundamental things like having a strict stream schedule, constantly interacting with your chat, like constantly being able to improve the quality of your stream. If people have screenshots of how bad my stream used to look back in the first 4 months where I was streaming, oh my god, it was disgusting. It looked awful. Only recently have I been doing a lot of great stuff, like building up the production value of the stream. I got new panels, I have things look nicer, I have better coloring, I have better like sound quality. Like it's all a production value around the stream, because so many times I'll see a great personality in terms of streamer, right? Like I'll be like, oh, this guy's so cool, I love him, he's a great player of a game, but he tries to talk and his mic shot, or like it's just like sketchy, like really sketchy audio, right? Or like his music is like way too loud, I can barely hear him. Like there's so many smaller things that can turn viewers away from your channel. I think a lot of people, when they go onto Twitch, they really want to see people. They want to see really cool streamers and talk to them and stuff like that, right? And your goal as a personality is not necessarily just to be positive and be fun, because that's obviously one thing for sure, but to make it so there's no barriers between you and them, right? You want to make it so that, like, when someone comes to your channel, they feel like it's a well-oiled machine. You know, you need to be perfect. Everything needs to look clean. Everything needs to be working well. And if that's all doing well, that's where your personality kicks in. Quite frankly, a lot of people will click off your channel within the first minute if they don't like what they see. And no one can really get a good read of your personality in just a minute. You know what I mean? Yep. Like, it has to look good first. It has to everything has to come together. And then there's also other sort of things like networking and branding and all that sort of stuff that comes into more things. I'm an entrepreneurship and marketing student, so I can't help it but quote some of my own course readings into it.
No, sure.
But like, it's not just being a cool person and personality. That's why I learned really quickly. If I can go into a little bit of my origin for streaming, is that a lot of my friends would often say, "Oh my God, Connor, you're like really funny. Like, you should definitely stream sometime," because like I'm good at games, obviously, and they want to hear me like talk about my opinions on games and anime and all sorts of stuff like that, right? And like, too frequently, it would be like, I'd be like, come on, guys, not really. I don't really want it, right? Like, I'm not sure I can handle it, like doing that much work. And eventually, thanks to like a friend helping me build a computer, a close friend, Cheeto, literally helping me set up my entire stream setup, I got started. And once I got started, I had like 3 viewers at most. I actually had, for almost the first 3 months, I had 2 viewers. So like it was pretty atrocious in terms of like what I was doing, and I was like, I thought I was good. You know what I mean? Like, I thought I was a good personality, and there was nothing wrong with my personality, nothing at all. It was just that, like, my camera was bad, my audio was bad, my stream game was being delayed due to lag. Like, there's all sorts of these smaller problems. And then as I slowly took these away, slowly more and more people would start coming to it and checking me out more, right? I have some really incredible, then it all comes down to like having a good support team around you. My main programmers for a lot of my coding and stuff like that, Crackers, SSTT, they're 2 incredibly good skilled programmers who work with a lot of my stuff. They do a lot of my technical work and stuff like that. Then we have like Cheeto, who's like my Cheeto, who's like my main stream manager, who does a lot of the sort of like effects you see on stream and stuff like that, like the really cool packages I've had for my various alerts and stuff like that. I myself picked up a lot of the artistic qualities as well. Like, I did the intro video you see at the beginning of every stream. I did the little logo, the neon light logo that I have, TheSkilledRoy and neon. I made that myself. Like, there's so many of these things that really make you show that you really care. And as soon as you show that you're caring about your stream as much as like it's your only thing you have going for you, then people will love you. You know, like, audience members want to see you care. And if they see that you care, they'll care. You know what I mean? Definitely. And like, it's just like, it was so hard for me early on, because I honestly was considering to quit streaming for a long time. When the first 3 months were pretty awful. Literally the only viewer I had, a guy named Lek, bless his soul, would come into my channel just to insult me and say how bad I was at this rhythm game. Like, it was pretty spectacular, I gotta say. Actually, he comes by every now and then. He's like, "God damn, Connor, I always made fun of you because you only had like 1 viewer, but now I have like 15 to 20 viewers." He's like, "God damn it, Connor." And I'm like, "Yeah, sorry, dude."
Damn it, Connor.
I know, honestly. And so yeah, it's been a bit of a ride, I gotta say. And like, now sitting where I am now, I've learned so much. People have actually hired me now to be a stream manager for them. So what happens is I go into someone's channel, I help them upgrade everything, make things look nicer, give them some tips, sort of work with them next beside them, and then I help them gain more popularity on Twitch, help them build up from stuff like that. And typically I like to do like a pricing model that's not like hurting them. I don't like to charge money up front. I typically do like a percentage of earnings type thing. That way it always like incentivizes me to work hard for them, as opposed to like me saying, "Okay, give me $50, bye," and then leaving. You know what I mean? Right. But anyway, so point being though is that like overall, like, there's so many big facets of streaming, like making things look good, being a positive personality, being really cool to talk to, constantly networking. It really is a grind. Like, it is, quite frankly, without a doubt, one of the hardest jobs I personally ever had. It's something I've actually put a lot of passion into. I'll be quite frank, I'm a pretty lazy person.
Sure.
In every aspect of my life except for this. Like streaming means a lot to me. It's been like a great sort of source of enjoyment for a lot of my friends, and it's really nice to have everyone sort of be here and supporting me, and it really lets you sort of gain confidence in other aspects of your life, and like to be able to build an audience like this off of what I think is right and being actually able to do it, it's very satisfying, I guess is the word, to sort of have that going for that, right?
Right.
But anyways, so point being that it's like so what? Sorry, I have a lot to talk about sometimes off my top of my head.
Don't even worry about it. It's
so,
a podcast. You're meant to talk about whatever you want to talk about, man. There's no time limit here.
True. So I think overall, my main lesson for gaining popularity on Twitch, it's easier and harder than it sounds, if that makes sense. A lot of people just equate it to being funny or being good at a game, right? There's tons of challenger League of Legends players. We're talking top 0.0001% who have less than 5 viewers, right? Because they don't have a camera, they don't have a microphone, they don't have their stream doesn't look good, they don't stream regularly, right? Like there's so many other barriers to entry before you can even be considered a streamer. And then even then you have to then on top of that have those really great qualities of having a great personality, constantly being networking, all this stuff, right? So to finally put it bluntly, I think the best way to put it is to grind. Just keep working. And if you ever stagnate and you ever like, man, I am good where I am with like 3 viewers, 4 viewers, 5 viewers. Now you gotta go better. You gotta keep pushing yourself higher. You know what I mean? Keep going better and better. And that's the goal. Like tomorrow for my birthday, I'm doing a bunch more upgrades to the stream. We're getting a green screen coming in. Spoiler alert. For anyone who cares? Yeah, so I'll have a green screen coming in soon as well. So that'll be really nice. There'll be a lot of really great stuff sort of moving forward. Like I said, there'll be a couple other smaller upgrades. I don't want to spoil everything too yet.
No, of course. Save some for your lovelies. Save some.
Yeah. Like I even had for a while I had a soundboard. I'm gonna be bringing that back again soon. So I have a soundboard that plays like hype music on last stock situations and stuff like that. Oh, that's sick. Like there's so many theoretical ways to go out there and really study top streamers. Like I literally have notebooks upon notebooks of me looking at top streamers and analyzing exactly what makes their streams good, not just like a personality standpoint. Because at the end of the day, making or breaking it on Twitch in terms of personality is pretty like, I can't say what'll be good, what'll be bad, right? We have Tyler One, a character who was born out of the toxicness of League of Legends, right? You have Dr. Disrespect, who's literally like a movie character almost, you know what I mean?
Right.
You have more chill people like Lyric, or you have Summit, who are just playing like really chill dudes, you know? Like, and it's just like personality-wise, it's all over the board, right?
Right.
It's really just a matter of making things look good, being consistent, and being like entertaining, right?
Right.
What you define as entertaining is probably what someone finds entertaining. You just have to make sure there's no barriers between entry between you and them. As for like what comes down to the other things like game choice and stuff like that, you should always typically stream games you care about, because people can tell when you're being fake about games and so on and so forth. So you gotta move around about that sort of stuff.
Right.
But yeah, all that sort of great stuff. Wait, so my birthday tomorrow? Yeah, it's my birthday tomorrow.
Oh yeah, it's time for the birthday boys announcement. This has been the birthday boys stream.
Holy Zoro Flame. Oh my god.
Shout out the other Kyoto homie.
I have to say, my list of favorite smashers in the world are Bizarro Flame, Pew Pew, Duck, for obvious reasons. And then some of my closer friends, obviously, among that as well. But Bizarro Flame is a legit inspiration to me in terms of content creation. Happy early birthday! Oh my god!
Oh, look at that! Shout out, Biz.
Oh my god! I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Stop, guys.
I love it.
I'm a huge fan of Bizarro.
It's kind of hard not to be. I think he's definitely like one of those top players that just everyone loves. Like, how do you hate this guy? Like, Biz, don't
honestly,
take this the wrong way, but I want to try and find a way to hate you, and it's never gonna happen. I'll never find a way. You're too great. You're too great.
Nah, and well, see, like even like, it's quite frankly, Bizarro sort of embodies a lot of the sort of thoughts like I had moving forward with streaming and stuff like that. It's like, sure, Ganon, for example, is not like a god tier character or anything like that, but having fun and being a personality that's entertaining is so key. And like, it doesn't matter who you're playing, whether it's Fox, Ganon, or Roy. Like, what matters the most is being like cool and being a great personality moving forward, right? And whether or not I can eventually be Mr. Giffy Cat like him, like that's like another story, you know. I'll see if I can get there one day. He's obviously a lot more skilled than me, but like that's something that you have to move forward with and work from there, you know.
Totally. Well, always the biggest shout outs to him. Biggest shout outs to you also. Connor, I can't thank you enough for coming on tonight. I'm out of topics to cover, and we've talked. This is actually probably gonna end up being the longest episode of the new season, I think, right now, and definitely worth it. No, and so worth it. I love having these long conversations where a lot of not only your heart but your mind can elaborate on a lot of these things. It's been so much fun getting to talk to you. At this point, I almost pull the hot ones, and I just say the plug is all yours. Shout out whoever you want to shout out. Plug wherever you want to, whatever you're coming up to, all that stuff, man. Time is yours.
All right. So thank you so much, everyone. Let me go ahead and say thank you. Obviously, thanks to YungD0nut for having me on. It's been a great opportunity for me to talk and stuff like that. Shout outs to all my great subs I've had on my channel from day one. There's been a lot of people who've been there for me. Even the guy who insulted me for the first 3 months, he pushed me forward, man. I did more and more and more. Obviously EMG, huge shout outs I gave him to earlier.
Shout outs.
Person, Gilbert, Seba, Buige, all these people, amazing, great people. Faison, all these people who've done a lot for me. Oh my God, so even want to thank. Oh God. Also, if you want to talk to me, please add me on Discord if you guys can. I'll probably link my Discord in the chat. Add me on Twitter if you guys want to hang out and talk to me there. I'd love to talk to you, but more in the future. Stuff like that as well. Please do talk to me on Twitter. If you want to talk about any collabs or anything like that as well, I'm open to any collaborations with any other fellow streamers and stuff like that. If you want to do anything from like Fortnite nights to Melee net play memes and stuff like that, anything like that. Check me out on Danthers, I guess.
Yeah.
Just
fight the kid, play against him.
Fight me. I really take on all comers. Please contact me on Twitter if you have any business related stuff. I like to work with anyone, either helping their streams improve, or like any sponsorship requests. I actually just got sponsored by G Fuel, actually. That's
shit, no way.
Yeah.
Hey, congratulations.
Yeah, so I'll be instead of drinking Coke all the time, I'll now also be drinking G Fuel.
We're upgrading.
Yeah, we out here. So I guess just shout outs to like all the great content creators. Bizarro Flame, like if you're still here, man, legitimately, I would love to talk to you more in the future. If you message me on Twitter, if you're cool with that, or I can message you, obviously. He's a really great guy. Like, there's so many great inspirations I've had in terms of culture, just moving up through Smash. It's been like, it's crazy because I opened up the whole gaming area at Ryerson just because like, I like Smash, I like watching the memes. Like I've been keeping up with Melee for a long time, but I hadn't played it very often, if that makes sense. It was so weird. Like I often read and study and learn other games like frequently, right? Like anything from like League of Legends to Hearthstone. Like I didn't even play Hearthstone, but I knew what all the top decks were and I knew how to play them. And I think that's like how I sort of got into it. Like Bizarro Flame's like Easy Money to Chillin' Dude's rap album to everyone in between. Like a lot of the culture hasn't really been expanded, and if things like my up throw up smash spike can get some traction out there and inspire people, I want that to be like the next thing. You know, I want to keep pushing this stuff forward.
100%, man.
But anyways, thank you so much, everyone. Shoutouts to Faust, literally the best Jigglypuff ever. My homeboy. We gotta go for KBBQ again soon. I see him in the chat, so I had to say that.
Hey. Yeah, we were talking. Yo, Faust, we were even talking about you before the stream. That's how important you are.
Yeah, Faust is this absolutely crazy dude. 2-0 PBU. What the hell? So I honestly can't thank enough people. Everyone in my chat. Sandfire, literally the best girl ever. whatchamacallit, we have Daniel Listriff, the best DK main in Southwest Ohio. So a bunch of great memes like that. I just love them all so much, and thank you so much, guys, for coming out and coming to the channel and saying hi.
Guys, so much positivity just pouring out of this guy. Such a great person. Connor, I can't thank you enough. It's been so great getting to talk to you this whole time. It's been great getting to know you even more. Like, we talk even in your chat. We've talked here and there all the time, just random stuff, helping with stream stuff, helping with just communication types. And it's just been a hella good time. Dude, you deserve everything that you got coming your way. I can only expect bigger and better things to keep aiming your way. You're a great person. Had such a great time having you on. Everyone, thank you so much for tuning into The Bakery. You stick around and we'll have another guest coming up real soon. Everyone, have a safe and fun night. Peace out.